Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Princell, and I'm thrilled to welcome you to this week's edition of Mindful Money Financial Wellness Call, alongside my incredible team of holistic financial planning specialists. As a passionate advocate for both health and financial wellness, I believe in the profound connection between the two. With my background in medicine and finance, I've dedicated my life to helping individuals just like you achieve holistic prosperity because true wealth encompasses more than just money. Joining me are the brilliant minds of our financial experts, each bringing their unique insights and expertise to the table. Together, we're here to guide you to a transformative journey towards optimal health and financial well being. So let's dive in together and explore the powerful synergy between health and wealth. Get ready, ladies and gentlemen, because you're going to unlock the secrets to living a life filled with abundance and vitality. Now, brace yourselves. This is going to be an unforgettable experience as we embark on this journey together towards a brighter, healthier, and wealthier. If you're not ready, you don't have any other option but to elevate your life to new heights because with us, possibilities are limitless. So, thank you all for joining. And let's go ahead and begin with our 7 tips to mindful money mastery, right? Now, the first tip that I would like to introduce you all to is a little thing called number one, understanding inflation. Okay. Now, inflation, for those of you who may not be too familiar with it, it's your purchasing power. Okay. Or rather the decrease of your purchase. Now, every year, let's say that if you had $100,000 for to give you a much better idea, an example to kind of go off. If you had $100,000 in savings, earning at 1% interest rate, which is pretty on track with what you get at the bank. But if inflation is at 3.5%, your purchasing power is effectively decreasing over time, right? Now, this is just one place that you may think about getting, starting your investment plan, right? With going to the bank, applying for, a high interest savings account, something that offers 1.2% to 3.5% or better, you know. But remember, inflation is at 3.5%, 3% historically every year. So if you're going to save or just leave your money in one place, definitely want to make sure that it's going to work for you better than just 1.2%, right? Next up, what we have here, what we have is tax planning across ages. Now, between the age groups of 25 to 65, these tend to be the most serious people when it comes to their money. All right. Now, for those of you not in the know, there are income tax brackets based on age, and there are different strategies for optimizing or minimizing your tax liabilities. Some of the most important, effective, or tax efficient means of investment planning incorporate tax saving strategies. So tax brackets varying based on income levels and filing status. Let's put an example to that. All right. So for individuals aged 25 to 65, the brackets range anywhere from 10% to 37% for the highest income earners, right? This is the highest income earners to the lowest income earners, 10% to 37%. Okay. Now, a person who makes a lot of income may be on the 10% side of the tax bracket, and someone who makes 36 to 50,000 may be on the 37% side of the tax bracket. right? But also you have to consider things like filing single, filing jointly, filing head of household. Then you also have to take into consideration things like your earned income credits. And quite frankly, in order to make the most use of your tax efficient investment strategies, you want to consider contributing to retirement accounts like 401ks, IRAs. These are things that help you lower your taxable income. And of course, they also reduce your taxable liabilities, right? So let's keep pushing because I want you all to get the most out of these 7 tips. Okay. Let's talk about next something that as you're on your way to retirement, you should be thinking about, which are your social security benefits. All right. Now, in regards to social security, things are interesting because you got people who believe in social security and people who don't believe in social security. If you leave it to Google and you leave it to some of your conspiracy theory friends, Social Security won't be around come 2039. It may not be there come 2054. And in reality, it will be there because so much depends on how our elderly population tends to spend their money, right? Think about it like this for a second, right? If the government gives a little bit to a modest level of income on a monthly basis to people who are over the age of 65, right? Over the age of 70, and those 60 to 70-year-old, you know, people who were taxpayers for over 40 years, well, over 40 cycles, right? Which is about 10 years. These individuals take that social security check, go to pharmacy or a drugstore or a restaurant or a movie theater or Walmart, right? And they spend that social security check in those institutions, which goes to corporations who also provide service, goods and services to the general population. And of course, like even though it may seem like only a little bit, that little bit helps to keep the economy going. So let's imagine it like this, right? You're approaching retirement age and wondering when to start taking your benefits. Recently, I worked with a client who was debating between taking benefits at 62 or waiting until full retirement age for a larger payout. Now, we had to carefully weigh out their options and consider factors like health, longevity, and financial needs. And by doing so, we were able to create a personalized strategy that maximized their Social Security benefits, provided them long term financial security, and we made some other suggestions as well, right? Like because they were still in their early 60s, we discussed the importance of delaying Social Security benefits until they reach full retirement age. So between the ages of 66 and 67. Now, results can vary based on higher monthly payments, or they can vary to from small monthly payments to higher monthly payments, right? But this is where you kind of want to also understand how the Medicare Part B premium income related monthly adjustments, the IRMAs, all right, and that might be something that we should probably talk about another time. But these are for higher income earning retirees, and still it's important for low income earning or low to fixed income earners to high income earners, right? As you're retiring, you want to be familiar with some of these things because, yeah, we talked about the importance of putting money away for retirement. And in some instances, that may give you a tax deferred tax advantage. In some instances, could be paying on your income when it's time to make those withdrawals, and not factoring that into the equation could potentially hurt you. But let's keep that in mind, and let's talk about how this is also one of the first places that we start thinking about investment planning, right? Because it leads us into the next section, right? We've talked about planning across different tax planning across ages, social security benefits. But here's where, and if you've been paying attention to what's going on in the media lately, we kind of have to talk about investing and more specifically capital gains, right? Now, strategies for optimizing investment returns while managing capital gains, it's not something that everybody knows how to do. This is where we take some further insights into diversification and risk management. So let's talk capital gains tax rates for a brief second. You have two types. You have short term, and then you also have long term. Now, the short term capital gains, these are for capital gains that are for investments that grow within a maturity or a time frame of less than a year, so up to 365 days, right? And then you have long term capital gains, which are if you wait to close your position, whether you're in a trade or you wait a full year and a day to start making withdrawals from an investment or withdrawing from an investment income. If you wait for the long-term capital gains, or then you're actually putting yourself in a lower tax liability. All right, so a lot of people are in it to make money fast, but if you sell it fast, you're gonna get taxed high. All right, if you sell slow, you're gonna get taxed low. Right, so for those that are again not in the know of what's been going on with capital gains recently, has anyone else heard about what the president just recently did with increasing capital gains taxes to 44%? Anyone else hear about that?
Yes.
Right. Now, I had a client who was a little bit concerned about this. They were like, "Oh, Prince, I don't know. Like, you're talking to me about investing. Like, the market's down. The president just increased the capital gains taxes. What's the best strategy for making investments right now?" Best strategy is to go long, and quite frankly, don't sell for the next couple of years. Don't plan on closing any of your positions. Don't plan on making any withdrawals. All right. Now that handles the tax liability on the capital gains taxes on your investment. Why am I saying also consider investing at a time when the economy is not doing so well? Well, if you use a steady dollar cost average investment approach, meaning you spend a fixed amount every month on investing into your mutual funds, investing into your ETFs, investing into your ETNs, investing into your options or even your crypto, right? You take a small amount and you buy consistently over a steady period of time. Yes, the market's going to go up and down, but if you look at the long term of it, you will consistently grow your investment by taking a small conservative approach. So consider some of these things, right? As we also continue to move forward with discussing what everybody wants to do, but not everybody really knows how to do. So let's talk about retirement, okay? Because we talk about the money, we talk about Social Security, we talk about the investment. What about retirement planning? Well, the importance of starting early and contributing to your retirement, without a doubt, needs to be said, right? Now, let's take the example of a 30-year-old young woman. Now, at 30 years old, she's thinking about retiring. She would like to have a house. She's thinking about having a family. And well, at some point, if she's going to be having a family, the children can always work their way through college. she cannot work her way through retirement, right? I will say that again. Your children can work their way through college, but you cannot work your way through retirement. So let's say that you're 30 years old and you're saving $300 a month in a retirement account, earning 6 or 7% annually, right? Now, the return could accumulate over $500,000 by the age of 65. Withdrawal strategies for this, though, you got to consider sustainable withdrawal rates that allow for, while during retirement, allow them to ensure savings last throughout the retirement years. Now, let's consider this for a second. Retirement for most people is an age, when really it is a number. It's a dollar amount. How much money do you need to have to support you after you decide you no longer need to work for money, right? Now, here's another example. Because 7%, that seems modest, that seems reasonably high, that seems nice, right? And we already know that because inflation is at 3.5%, we're doing well above inflation. However, is $500,000 really going to be enough to help a person, for a young woman who at eight from who, if she retires at age 65, has essentially 20 years to enjoy $500,000 worth of her retirement savings? How does she do that? Well, considering that essentially the retirement is designed to help supplement income that you would have been receiving from working, I want you to consider something called an annuity for those of you who accumulate a large amount of retirement savings. If you've got something, if you got over $50,000, you can annuitize $50,000, meaning you could create a stream of income for the rest of your life. It may not be enough to support you or keep you from having to go back to work. However, in the instance where we're looking at someone who's got $500,000, if we put that into an annuity, could this help someone enjoy 20 years of their life? If they're going to only have 20 years, well, here's where we also make this holistic, because with modern medicine and with good nutrition and whole foods and making sure that you get your stretching and your water and your breath work on a regular basis, right? And avoiding some of the destructive recreational habits, that yeah, when we're young we might be able to bounce back from, but as we get older, that bounce back period is not so easy. I know my guys and my gals over 40, you understand what I'm talking, okay? So think about this. Your money has a resilience just as equal to your own energetic resilience. If it takes you long to bounce back after you've had like a period of exercise, your money might have the same stamina. Okay? Think about that. Your money may have the same stamina. But let's go ahead and move right along and we can come back to some of these concepts. All right. In fact, if you do have questions, you're thinking about asking them, you don't want to stop the presentation, please feel free to go ahead and put those into the chat. For those of you who are watching this video via YouTube, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe, leave a comment, share this with someone that keep it to yourself. You don't want to share it with anyone. Make best use of it for you. As they tell us on the airplane, put your face mask on first. After yours is on, then you can worry about helping other people. Okay. So focusing on you right now, let's keep it focused on you. Let's talk about our 6th most important mindful money tips, which is the importance of doing some estate planning. Okay. It's never the estate plan that fails. It's the failure to do the estate planning that does them. Okay. Now, let's reflect on the legacy of the beloved actor, Chadwick Boseman, right? His sudden passing not only shocked the world, but also highlighted the importance of estate planning. Despite his private battle with cancer, Boseman, he didn't have a public will. Now, this left his family to navigate his estate without clear guidance. His story serves as a very poignant reminder that regardless of age or fame, essential planning for our families, protecting our loved ones, and preserving our legacy, it should be at the top of your list. Okay. Now, some of the key things that you want to have in your estate planning go beyond just having a will and a last testament. Okay. It means having trust. Okay, which quite frankly, a trust will not be challenged in a court of law. But you should speak with an attorney depending on the complexity of your own living estate. Okay. And beneficiary designations, well, when it comes to trust, you can place a trust as a beneficiary onto some of your financial instruments or some of your financial products, like life insurance, like investments, like retirement. Okay. And that's just another way of you creating a rule book that will last well beyond the time frame of you. Right. Now, I want to also make sure that we have a decent grasp of estate planning, and considering that most of us, over 75% of the United States of America live below the poverty line, right? That line is about $250,000. Well, it used to be $250,000. That number has since moved up with the cost of living. That number has since moved up with changes in taxes, changes in capital gains, changes all around, right? Your money changes, seasons change. In fact, that should be how you do the majority of your financial planning. Plan as though the season will change. If you are in the spring of your financial life, how do you prevent yourself from, as Game of Thrones would say, the coming of winter? No, because winter will come if you don't do your planning. All right. Now, you might be the sole provider of income. You may be the primary support and pillar in your family when it comes to finance. If something were to happen to you, what plans of action do you have in place? Who knows how to navigate what you put in place? It may be time for you to just at least incorporate letting somebody know what kind of estate plan or how you want your estate plan to go. Right. Now, that can also include things like having powers of attorney. So that way, in the event that, if you were incapacitated, your estate plan goes into play. A medical power of attorney or a medical proxy. Who don't you want making medical decisions on your own behalf? If you're someone who doesn't believe in life-sustaining foods, or AKA life support, assisted living or anything else of that sort, and you have a desire and a wish to have other things, because, we need to get off this part of the conversation, because this is where nobody ever wants to talk about this, right? Nobody wants to engage in mortality. Nobody wants to have that conversation. So let's invest a little bit more energy into the things we want to happen, right? What do you want to happen if you were no longer present? Who do you want to get your earrings? Who do you want to get that, the watch that's been in your family for generations? A watch is something that carries with it a certain intrinsic as well as monetary value. And that's definitely something that you could include into your estate plan, right? So taking advantage of annual gift tax exclusions, understand that there are 15,000 per recipient in 2024 that are able to take advantage of the exclusions, all right? So if you're gifting people, or if you're, making contributions to someone else, and you make charitable donations, consider what the gift tax exclusion also does for you through your estate plan. Okay. And I heard something that was really cool today, which is a man, actually the gentleman who owned the property next to to the Playboy Mansion included in the sale of his home that the sale could only take place after he had passed. Anyone else catch that? They could sell the house, but paperwork and a check and the property couldn't be transferred until after he had passed. Talk about thorough estate planning, okay? Making sure nobody touches it, nobody can get on until he essentially gets off. All right. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. Now, let's while I'm still here, I want to also touch on the importance of income replacement in your estate planning. All right. Term life insurance, one of those is just one of the things that I want to kind of just touch on for the last 2 points, right? Because, well, term life insurance can provide financial support to surviving family members in the event the policyholders, right? This is just another way of saying that this can help replace lost income, maintain the family's standard of living, especially if the deceased was the primary breadwinner, right? The proceeds can be used to cover estate taxes. It can be used to cover debts, final expenses, ensure heirs receive their intended inheritance without the need to sell assets that were unfavorably, without the need to sell assets at unfavorable times or prices. Okay, people get put into hard positions where they're forced with making the decision of saying like, okay, like right now we're in a position where we're hungry, the electricity is about to get cut off, children need to go to school, they need to have clean clothes on their backs, right? Sometimes life throws us those types of curveballs, all right? However, if we incorporate having a term policy, right, in which case we're using the term policy to benefit a family while a person's alive, right? Say, for example, they got hurt or injured or sick, terminally ill, or permanently disabled. Well, having a term life insurance policy could help, for the time period that a person is going to be working, like at least until that maybe if they have any children, a younger child graduates high school or college, a term policy for that length of time could help take care of a lot of the concerns and things that keep moms and dads up at night while they're just waiting for their child to graduate, right? Like, come on. Little Easy is about to graduate. You know what I'm saying? Come on, Little Easy. Come on, Little Easy. You can make it. All you got to do is just graduate. All you got to do is just graduate. Graduated high school. Let's get that vocational school. Let's get you through college. Let's get you into that good job. Come on, Little Easy. Let's do this. And remember, Lil Easy can work that butt off through college, but you cannot work your way through retirement, and you certainly can't work your way back from an injury or being sick. Okay, so think about a term life insurance policy as income replacement, nothing more than another way of managing your risk, taking care of the necessities, right? And final tip is going to be on debt management, right? Now, strategies for staying out of debt and managing existing debt effectively. You can do this without having to change anything in your budget, okay? There are strategies for handling mortgage payments and optimizing mortgage terms. So here's one suggestion. Pay attention to the mortgage rates. Pay attention to the mortgage rates, because if the interest rates go down, I want you to consider doing one thing and one thing only. Can anyone tell me what it is? It starts with an R.
Refinance.
What was that?
Refinance?
That's right. If those interest rates drop, I want you to run to your mortgage provider. I want you to request a refinance, and I want you to get the lower deal, get the lower interest rate. Okay? Still maintain the same consistent payment. Don't change your debt. Don't change your budget. You're accustomed to already making that same monthly payment. Just because you got a lower interest doesn't mean you start paying a lower amount, because you have interest payments and you have principal payments when it comes to your mortgage. So yes, you get the interest rate lower. That means you could hurry up, pay the interest off faster and get into the paying off the principal. Okay. But now also consider something called a decreasing term policy. This is especially for mortgage, for people who are paying their mortgage. All right. A decreasing term policy, it works a little bit kind of like the way your mortgage does. Each year you're paying off your mortgage, yes? And each year, because you're consistently paying that mortgage off, the payment at the end of the year is going to be lower. You're going to have a lower balance at the end of every year, right? So if your mortgage payment, well, if the balance for the mortgage payment comes a lower amount, you having a decreasing term, the amount of coverage decreases annually to match how much you have left over to pay off the mortgage. All right. So that way, if ever something were to happen to the primary breadwinner, hey, how much decreasing term life did you have? Enough to manage the cost of the mortgage. And if you've got other debts in there as well, then if you decide to refinance, incorporate the cost of all your debts into the new loan amount with the lower interest. That way you have one bill that you're paying every month with one interest, and that should help out. All right. Now, you know, can't not discuss how sometimes there are co-policy holders and co-signers to loans or debts with other people, right? Spouses sometimes get into this, business partners, all right? Life insurance can provide financial security to the co-signers as well, in case of the policyholder's death. Ensuring that the co-signer is not burdened with the debt or the repayment of it alone, right? In both estate and debt management, term life policies offers, essentially some financial protection and peace of mind, allowing individuals to safeguard spouse, children, grandchildren, from and put them on course for a better financial future that will also minimize the impact of debts and liabilities. Now, with that said, we've got our 7 tips to mindfully master our money. All right. At this point, what I would like to do is, now put the wheel in your hand and give you all the opportunity to steer the conversation. Or whether you have questions about Social Security, estate planning, or any other financial topic, your questions not only help you gain clarity, but also they benefit other people on this call who may have similar concerns. So I'm going to go to the chat right now, check out some of the things that have been in here that have been asked. If you have any questions, please ask here in the chat. Why term instead of whole life? Okay, so this is a great question. Why term instead of a whole life policy when it comes to your financial planning? Well, whole life tends to be 10 times more expensive, okay, than term life insurance. Now, I'm not opposed to anyone having life insurance. As long as you have life insurance, I'm happy. But there are, you could be either underinsured, right? Not have enough insurance, or you could be criminally insured. So some people pay a lot of money for a little bit of insurance. And the majority of people who pay a lot of money for a little bit of insurance, typically they're on the whole life side of things, right? Here's my philosophy to this. You could have an expensive whole life policy, or you could pay enough for life insurance and use the remaining difference to pay off your house, your mortgage, your car loan, your student loan debts, right? Your credit card bills. Or you could have the extra money to start investing into your future right? Where most whole life policies that offer a savings component also say, yeah, you can save your money in a whole life policy, but it comes at the cost of borrowing your own money and repaying it with interest. So I'm not opposed to anyone, if paying not only insurance premium, but also a loan, as long as you're okay with making 2 monthly payments to expensive insurance and the cost of your loan, by all means, do that. All right. Again, we're here to help give you a little bit of guidance towards what you can do better with your money, right? Because it is your money. And to me, that's the most important part when it comes to term versus whole life. You spend the least amount on enough coverage with term, it gives you a lot of money to invest the difference or blow it. How is your money to do whatever you want with, right? I just want to encourage you to be responsible, right? Um, let's see what else did we have in the chat, right? Budgetfna.pdf. Go ahead. We go ahead. I know one of my partner, one of my specialists just put that in there. I want you to go ahead and tell us a little bit more about this budget FNA real quick, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just with the information you have given us prior before, uh, we're talking about budgeting. When you download this particular document, it's going to give you all your credit card, your monthly expense, the money you spend. It's right out one of the information we give people when we do a financial analysis. I thought it would go in right pretty well when you was talking about budgeting, because most people, like you stated, don't know what their budget is or
Right.
having an idea how much they spend per month. So this is a good idea to get a balance, to get a leg up on how much you spend. And so you can now invest freely in yourself later on, not to stop something midway because we
Absolutely.
couldn't afford it.
Now, you bring up a very good point, and I guess this is a good point, a good time for me to say, for anyone that uh, hasn't already seen, we put a survey in there. If one of my specialists will put that copy of that survey that I put into the chat earlier and just paste it back into the chat for everyone. Um,
Copy.
we would love to hear your feedback on how we're doing and what we can do to make improvements. All right. Along with that, we're going to also send you our 7 tips to mindful money mastery. And for a special time only, we have an ebook that we're going to be giving away for until next week only. If you're not on this call, to get this free ebook, not get it at all. So one of my specialists, please also be sure to drop that PDF for the ebook into the chat as well. All right. You'll get the 7 tips to mindful money. They're incorporated into that ebook. You're going to see them in a different way, but it also is a holistic approach on that's easy to use, shows you how to implement these same strategies that we're talking about. And it's one that also caters to people who have more of an eccentric and eclectic way of living. Meaning, you know, I like to go run. I like to do a little bit of yoga, some Tai Chi, right? Um, I I like to meditate. I also like to engage in prayer, right? So some of these concepts, they may seem very familiar to you in regards to, well, like, this is what we would do in a yoga session, right? Well, how you live your life should also be incorporated and considered when you're planning your finances, right? When you're looking at retirement, what does retirement look like for you? For me, it looks like me on a beach someplace with locks down to my feet. And I'm talking about my hair, my crown. I'm talking about locks down to my feet, baby. You know what I'm saying? On a beach somewhere with a drink with a funny looking umbrella in it that's waiting for me, nice and chill. It might be kiwi juice or pineapple juice with a little ginger in it. All right, a little lime squeeze in that puppy, right? And it's waiting for me after I do my Qigong exercises. It's waiting for me after my breath. It's waiting for me after my journaling. It's waiting for me after my vision board. All right. So, I mean, for some of you, it might be taking a nice trip. So I want to tell you this, and then and we'll call it a night, right? We'll end on the budget tip. In budgeting, we have a way to show you how, for the financial concerns or financial instruments that you need, we have a way to help you recoup the entirety of whatever it is that you spend on those financial services. So that way, at the end of your working career, not only will you have gathered back the money that you spent on those things for your family's protection, you'll be able to do whatever you want with that money. Right now, this is what we call our premium recovery strategy. I'm gonna put this in here, right? Premium. Now, if you're interested and you want to know more about our premium recovery strategy, you want to know how we're going to make essentially your life insurance, your mortgage payments, your investments. If you want to know how we're going to make those things free for you, you need to email us at lflowwellness@gmail.com, right? And we, ladies and gentlemen, like someone just put in there, I hope to see you on the beach too. But that brings us to the end of this call. All right. Thank you all for joining. For those of you who may have some questions, you might want to stick around a little bit longer. This is just where we come to the conclusion of the for everybody. Okay, and we start getting into the segment where we start talking about maybe what you want to talk. Okay, so that said, for everyone else out there, if you've gotten great value from this video, please do not forget, like, share, subscribe, comment. Let us know how we can make it better. At the bottom, somewhere in the description, the survey link may be there if you want to know how we can help you, or maybe you're interested in joining our team of specialists. Feel free to contact us or complete that survey. One of our people will get back to you as soon as possible. All right. We thank you again and appreciate your time and your presence. Dr. Princell and the L Wellness Group, we're helping people make their lifestyle. We're helping people achieve a level of abundance, not only in their health, but also in their wealth. That's all.